Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, Reeling in Holistic Health, where we care about your mental health and well being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, and I want to make sure that you tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I have my special guest on to talk about real issues that matter most. I want you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook Live, on Business Facebook page, also on the Be Awesome Network. Stay tuned. I think you're going to really like this next guest. Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, where we care about your mental health and well being. I am your host, Coach Rice. And with me today, I have, Timothy Ward. He is he's an expert coach, author, consultant, and speaker. And we're going to take a deep dive into where he's from and why is he so passionate about health.
Well, it's great to be here, Martha. First of all, I am just north of Boston in the
Okay.
little state of New Hampshire. I live right on the ocean. It's absolutely beautiful up here. So that's my location for everybody to hear. But I speak all over the world. I get the opportunity to speak in Australia, London, Dubai. It's I've really been blessed that way. So my passion is absolutely longevity, exercise sciences. I coach pro athletes. I write protocols for sports teams. All that high end, very complex stuff with exercise science. But most of the people I work with are between 40 and 75 years old, men and women. And it's a real focus of mine because of the longevity component. And I will start with this thought. And I say this to everybody if I'm speaking in front of an audience or a team or whatever it is, right? Here's what I'm going to tell you. Your health and your fitness, your health and your fitness will become the number one priority in your life at some point.
Mm.
Okay, so if it already sort of is now, good for you. But if it isn't, I can promise you it will be your number one priority because you're gonna have to face it at some point. And my platforms and the way we go about it is I take the complex exercise science world, which is very complex, and we'll talk a little bit about it today. And I actually simplify it for people to start thinking about it a little bit differently. And it really resonates and connects with people. And that's one of the reasons I've been able to really grow and really, coach hundreds and hundreds of people. Like I said, men and women, mostly people in their, you know, late 40s, 50s, 60s. That's a time when you really, really have to make a decision if you're going to live healthy and strong, if you're going to make the right decisions, or if you're going to let age pull you down and you start nosediving into decay and really sickness. I'm sorry, but that's what happens to the human body. So the problem is for most people, it's the amount of proper knowledge that is the hurdle for them. So I describe it like this. Look, if I give you the keys, I love New York City. I'm there a lot. Okay, so if you are on the West Side Highway and you see the big aircraft carrier out there,
Hmm.
okay, you see the jets and everything on top of the deck. It's pretty cool to go out there on that boat. Um, and I give you the keys to one of those fighter jets, and I say, Martha, go ahead and take that, fly around New Jersey, and come back, land it on the boat. All right, I'll see you in 30 minutes. You look at me like I've got 10 heads. Like, what are you talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The human body is 100 times more complex than that fighter jet. So
Mm.
you start to put things in perspective, and it's the science, it's the real deep knowledge that really guides people into, health and wellness and longevity. So, you get a gym membership at Planet Fitness or wherever you go, or maybe you have some stuff at your house, right? Well, the human body is a highly adaptive machine. It will adapt to good stimulus it will adapt to really bad stimulus, right? What good stimulus would be good health and fitness practices, right? And my body will adapt to that stimulus, and that's what cardiovascular work and resistance training, good nutritional habits, all those things become a stimulus to the human body. When you work out right, your body starts to adapt and overcome. It gets stronger. It gets, more conditioned. It becomes more calm. Your mobility picks up. All those things that we always had when we were younger, but as we age, it starts to get really pulled apart, and the acceleration of that really starts to come into play in your early to mid 40s. Certainly in your 50s, people really start to realize, wow, I just don't have the muscle anymore. I don't have the strength. I can't really do activities that I used to do that I really love and I miss. There's a reason for that. Okay. It's the degradation of the human body. We lose those systems. So, walking into a gym and sort of doing some, exercises, or, because that person over there is kind of doing something that looks interesting, and, oh, that person over there is doing another thing. I'll try some of those. That's where the failure comes in. Most people don't understand how to go and actually utilize fitness as a tool to send the right stimulus to become really super healthy, strong, vibrant, sleep better, more active, more coping skills, because you have that strength and vitality. And I don't think there's really anybody that you could ask the question, would you like to be a little lighter, a lot stronger, and more energetic? Most people are going to say, of course I would, right? So it pains me to see people go through the effort and try to get to those things, and they don't ever get there. That's one of the things that really is my passion, to wake up every morning, every day, and work with people and show them the right way. And I have a massive sample size of people I've worked with, all sorts of different body types, different goals they may have. Some people, want to lose a lot of weight. Some people don't. Some people actually need to gain weight, right? So there's all these different things that come into play, and there is an immeasurable amount of items that come into play when you start talking about the overall fitness game. And that's what I do, is I simplify it. I actually show people how to add another 10 years onto their life, not just years, but quality years. And
Mm.
there's never anybody that wants to not understand that. So we'll dig into some of this stuff, Martha, and get in.
That is true. We want to understand because
Mm,
I'm 58 and and I'm, and I'm trying to figure out, and I'll ask you this question. What happens to the human body at the age of 50? Physically, hormonally,
hmm
neurologically,
Yep.
that people misunderstand because my body is going through some stuff.
Oh yeah. So when we're young, and I write about this in my book, by the way, I go over these issues. Book's a little over 300 pages. It became a bestseller in 21 days last fall, which is a blessing for me. I never really thought it would get there, to be honest with you. So it's widely read, and it's a very different kind of book, because I don't really talk all about fitness. I talk about the incremental growth mentally that you can have when fitness is in the right sequence. Um, we're all connected, uh, all of us. I don't care where you live, what your conditions are. We're all connected. So I have a big uh, uh, thought process of, let's help each other. We
Yes.
all struggle. We all go through stuff, right? We're not really alone in that. So one of the impetuses of my book, which was very challenging for me, it took me 19 months to write it. It was a lot harder than I realized, but my goal was, you know, if I can get this book right, and people start to buy it. They find Amazon, and the algorithm goes crazy because it's selling, and more people buy it. You know, my goal is to get people connected into how to go about this stuff the right way. And it's not that hard if you have the knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, it's just like anything else. It's grueling. It's very, very tough. There's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of trainers don't have the pedigree or the background to really write protocols to actually show people what to do. They're trying, but one of the issues in the industry is anybody can go get a certification on a Saturday afternoon. Take a test and,
Mm,
oh, I passed the 40 questions. Oh, my, look at, I'm a certified trainer.
right.
Well, okay. Now what? So, I've been with PhD guys forever. I've got a huge background in exercise sciences that allows me to translate the research, the white papers. I can translate all that stuff into practical, achievable training systems. No matter if you've ever trained before, or if you are an avid workout person, I promise you there's many things you can improve on. So I have many people in their 70s, late 60s that are in incredible, incredible shape.
Mm,
They're in the kind of shape somebody in their mid 40s, early 50s are. So it's real. And when you understand how to coagulate all this stuff, it really becomes clearer and clearer for the individual. And then they can start getting to some of those goals and they don't have to suffer anymore of really not being healthy, really not being that fit, right? You don't have to suffer if you're really connected to the right information and you're following the right systems. And that's what we do. We really have that down and perfected. So let me just give you an overview so we can start talking a little bit about this stuff. So a typical person will go maybe to a doctor an annual checkup. I train a lot of doctors, by the way, work with me privately. And they're such great people, but they're in a system that treats symptoms. Okay.
yes.
They're not preemptive. I use the word preemptive a lot, and hopefully your listeners and people, can kind of think of that word a little bit more today and say, you know what? I know I'm aging. I know I really I have to get get going here. Be preemptive. Don't wait until a tragedy hits you, a slip and
Hmm.
fall, or you're really out of control with your health and wellness. Be preemptive. Okay. Be courageous a little bit and start to get some knowledge and education. And it'll start to open up new channels for you, right? So you go to the doctor, and here's a typical situation. And I talk to my dozens of doctor clients all the time. I've got great relationships with them. And here's what happens. You go in, and then they immediately go to two, three, four of the biggest mortality risks. Okay, Martha. Okay, so you have high blood pressure. Okay, that's about a 20% increased chance of dying young. Right, high blood pressure. Right.
Right.
Type two diabetes is another big discussion point. Type two diabetes, you have about a 30% increased chances of dying younger. Okay, if you're a smoker, you have about a 50% chance of dying younger. And just to benchmark it, the average male life expectancy is about 77, 78. An average female is about 78 to 79 in that range. Okay. Women have about a year or two, a little bit longer life expectancy. So, but here's what they never talk about. Here's what they never talk about. If you are weak and you have low muscle mass, remember,
Mm,
by the time we're 42, we're starting to lose 1 or 2 pounds every year of muscle. You start to
mm,
lose muscle every frame. You do not want to do that. Okay. So if you're weak and you have low muscle mass and you're in the bottom 20% of your age group and you're in the bottom 20% of that, you have a 250% increased chance of dying young. If your VO2 max, your cardiorespiratory, is in the bottom 15 to 20% of your age, you have a 400% increased chance of dying young. So the numbers are off the charts when it comes to muscle mass, cardiovascular health. Okay. So the system in which improves those two things, muscle mass, cardiovascular,
Hmm.
it's a combination of things. It's not just trying to eat good and I'm going to get healthier. Just eating good is not going to put muscle on you.
Right.
You need stimulus to put muscle on you. That would be resistance training, right?
Hmm.
What type of resistance training? How many reps? How many days a week? How about form? How do I do the exercise properly? This is where it really breaks down, and people do an incorrect form, and they either get nothing out of the exercise or they injure themselves. That is
Right.
9 out of 10 people that happens. So this is where good coaching comes in, good onboarding, good explanation on how to do the actual exercises properly, and then how do I tie them together? How do I put them in a 45-minute workout that I'm doing adequate volume, I'm doing an adequate amount of resistance so I can stimulate muscle growth, so I can burn fat and I can burn calories off my body. Okay. And then how do I feed my body so I have enough protein in my system? What kind of
Hmm.
protein? So I can actually keep my muscle levels up to where they need to be because we know we're losing them. Right. So
Right.
these systems really get deep and complex. And I don't go into it that heavily because most people really want to know, all right, how do I do it? And we have all that stuff
Right.
on our
Right.
website. Our website, yeah, the book. I can only write so much in the book. I can only go so far because of the interpretation hurdle that's there, right? But on my website, we have access to the libraries for beginners, what a workout would look like. We have
Hmm.
access to people that already work out and train a lot more difficult types of workouts. We have private stuff that people can talk to me, a free inquiry, 15-minute, they chat with me. And I'm so happy to do that because people have so many questions about this stuff. We have nutrition modules where people can go in and really start to understand and learn a little bit. So the website is really helpful that way. There's a lot of information on it, and it really can start to trigger people into moving into growth and stop losing muscle. Right? Let's get your heart and lungs strong. There's a particular way that happens. All right. So those things become, for me, something so important that I love when people come into my story and they start to learn about this and put it into their story, right?
Okay.
I often say our lives are just made up of thousands of stories, all of us, every single one of us.
Yes.
Okay, our love story, our financial story, our youth story, our parenting story, our faith story, it's just a collection of stories. And I ask people, what is your health and longevity story? Who's the author of that story? Is it you? Or is it big mass produced foods, toxic? The food environment is incredibly horrific in our
Right.
country. So the first, 80 pages of my book really talks about that toxic world we live in. How do you identify what toxic food is? How do you navigate through it? What are the right choices? And I did it in a way that people really can have a takeaway on how you actually navigate it, what it really means. And I go into the science a little bit, but not too much, because people will get lost in that world. Okay, so they just want the answers. They want to really kind of have enough information so they can navigate through the quagmire of just food. How do I eat right? What does it mean to eat right? And
Right.
I break all that stuff down and give people that understanding. And then they end up interacting with me. They'll send me an email through the website, all of that stuff. So it's really great. It's really nice to hear um, um, the questions from people in the emails. So um, let me just dive in quickly to a system that I have so people can maybe get a little bit better understanding
Okay.
of how you can engage in a system. And I just want to explain it simply, okay? So let me give you this system called the longevity matrix.
Okay.
It's 6 points. All right. And I'm going to just cover them quickly so people maybe they can paint a picture in their mind. Okay. The very
Okay.
first thing we do, number one, is we have to eliminate toxic nutrition. All right. That's number one. Listen, you could have the greatest workouts and the biggest commitment. And if you're really not eating the right foods, if you're eating things like seed oils and sugars and you don't know how to identify all those things, you're in a toxic world of nutrition.
Mm.
Your workouts are going to be rendered useless, right? And
Wow.
all this stuff affects our brain health as well, our attitude, and it really
Hmm.
can tie into how we when we're feeling good physically. I mean, we're feeling we're feeling good mentally. We're feeling able, right? So I talk
So
about
true.
it's unbelievable, right? So all you have to do is think about the last time you had a bad cold or the flu, how miserable
Oh God,
you
yeah.
are mentally. You don't want to do anything.
Your
You want
brain is foggy. You just don't want to be bothered. Yeah.
you don't want to talk to anyone, right? So number one is eliminate toxic nutrition in the longevity matrix. All right. Now in the middle there is a box that has four quadrants in it, and this is all on my website. It's in the book as
Uh-huh.
well. So the top left quadrant is the R quadrant, the resistance training. Okay, this is where muscle is made. This is where joint health is maintained and increased. This is where mobility happens, our ability to move our joints with strength through movements, right? That's the resistance training. What
Right.
is resistance? It could be body weight, a rubber band, a dumbbell, a barbell, a machine. So there's various things that we use to create resistance against muscle, right? The top right quadrant is the nutrition quadrant. How do I eat right? What does that really actually mean? What are good carbohydrates, bad carbohydrates? What are the good fats? How do I calibrate that? What is a whole protein? What's an incomplete protein? How do I know? That nutrition piece I call those are the two by fours and nails that support the energy levels of your body. It supports the structure of muscle. So you have to know that piece, right? The bottom
Okay.
left is the cardio piece, the cardiovascular piece in the fitness quadrant. Strong heart and lungs, lower your blood pressure. The heart is a muscle. Okay, if we train it the right way, which I recommend a couple days a week, more if you can, and I give the parameters on, how you go about that and where do I get my heart rate? Why do I get it to a certain point? How do I measure it? I go into all of that, right? But the left ventricle wall of the heart will actually get thicker. Your heart will get stronger as a muscle.
Mm.
The weight of your heart will actually increase a little because it's more muscle. Okay, the stronger it gets, it's a stronger pump. It doesn't have to work as hard to push blood through your body, right? So we want to pay attention to that cardio piece, and we want to be able to do it the right way. Okay, so the bottom right is rest and recovery. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Okay, so that's part of your training. You can't just go crazy. I mean, we all probably know people that are just gym rats. That's all they do, and they get overtrained. They burn their central nervous system out. They start to get, joint pain because they just go at it too hard. All right, so it's a system: resistance training, nutrition, cardiovascular work, rest and recovery. That's what I call the fitness quadrant. And that's a trademark system I have. And when we onboard people or speak to them, we actually give them the protocols for all four of those quadrants. So they're not just leaving wondering, well, how do I do this? We actually explain it. How do I incorporate it in my life? And that's part of the video library we have and all that stuff that people have on they can access on our website, and it's in the book as well. But the bottom piece, number six, this is important. So it's called customized supplementation. Most supplements are toxic. I just wrote a big
Mm.
I wrote a big ebook on this, and it's going bonkers right now because a lot of the supplements, first and foremost, people don't even really know what they need, right? They sort of carpet bomb themselves. Well, I'll get a little of this, I'll get some of that. It sounds good, right? You listen to the marketing and all that stuff. So, um, um, supplementation, when you have the right supplementation, especially when we're training, right? Our body really needs extra nutrients. So, supplementation can become a really important piece of your overall longevity and your health and your wellness. So, you have to get quality supplements. And we just entered into a relationship um, with a just a dynamic company out west. Heard me on a podcast, bought my book, contacted me. It's a group of doctors that really have their own manufacturing of their. It's all in house. They don't make it overseas. This is the real stuff. They actually have worked with pro NBA basketball players for 22 years. And because there's no distribution, it goes directly from them to the end client. We actually set up our clients now directly with them. They're whole food supplements that have enzyme predigestion. And for people that don't know what that is, that means when you take these supplements, not are they only of the highest quality, but your body actually absorbs them. It's the whole bioavailability process.
Mm,
And that's the predigested enzymatic process that we have, right? So they recently just started working with people like me that have a network of people that follow me and all that sort of stuff. And it's a replacement cost. Most people spend between $80 and $200 a month on supplements already. They get them through Amazon or Walmart or Walgreens or the grocery store, and it's a quagmire. I mean, it's really a dirty secret of the industry that a lot of them are really very low grade, even though the packaging might be fancy and all that stuff. So you really have to know your source, and it's very difficult because a lot of the big conglomerates own these supplement companies, right? So it's very hard to get get the detail of what's really in the products. There's a lot of research out there that you can go into and find out that it's extraordinarily low grade ingredients in those supplements. So we have this system, and I absolutely love people to at least know about it, and they can choose to maybe go to my website, check it out, read about it, get yourself educated. I never push anybody into anything. I always tell people do your own research. You have to feel comfortable with the choices that you make. But we actually have to our pro athletes and to people that are in their mid 50s that really want to do this stuff the right way. We actually have a 120 biomarker blood panel that we have now. And
mm,
a typical blood panel of that of 120 biomarkers is over $1,200 at a concierge doctor. Okay, ours is $349, and the only reason I'm telling you this is because it's extremely inexpensive for what you actually get. It's a real diagnostic into your blood. We give you a private dashboard that shows all your markers, and it shows you your deficiencies in your blood. And we actually will make a custom pack for you that address the deficiencies. And even if you don't want to do the blood work, just go on and read how good these ingredients are, and it's basically the same price as what you would pay on Amazon for all these other inferior products. So it's not new money, but it's the real targeted stuff that we have, and I encourage people. It's one of the quickest, easiest ways to start injecting a little ingredient in your body through your nutritional supplementation that can make a huge difference. Sleeping better, lower heart rate, right? You have the ability to recover better, quicker. And again, all of this physical fitness stuff really shares a front row seat with mentality and that and your
hmm.
mental state. I know it does me. Uh,
Yeah,
you know,
me too.
nothing feels greater than really getting a lot of the stuff right, and you go through incrementally, right? You're training, you're doing your stuff, you weave it into your life, okay? And I'm going to talk about that in a second. All of a sudden, 2 months, 3 months have gone by, and your consistency has been really up there. It makes you want to eat cleaner. It makes you want to learn a little bit more, to squeeze out a little bit more. Man, when you're feeling that way, your mentality is so much greater, and I see it with people that I work with. They are just plain happier. And that's that relationship between, you know, the, the proper wellness and fitness protocols, how it affects everything. And I've seen such dramatic changes in people. Joint health. I could go dive deep into the science of that and how that occurs if you want me to. I'll give you a little scenario on that, Martha. But um, these things don't happen by chance. You have to get the right knowledge to actually understand the things you need to do. And it's all it is. It's knowledge. You know, you take a look at, and I'm guilty of this as well. All the things we waste our time on, right? It may be social media, it may be binge watching a series on
Oh yeah.
Netflix, right? Right, or I'll go blow money on going out to these fancy dinners, and but the, and listen, I'm not saying those are bad things. All I'm saying is if you can steal 2 hours a week out of those things and start putting them into the proper fitness wellness protocols, you are going to be such a better man or woman for doing that. And it can really start to add up over the months. And, you just might find yourself feeling awesome. And that's a gift that I wish everybody could could have. Not everybody will do it. People find
That's
excuses.
true.
They find a way to, I'll do it next week, right? The killer word, I'll do it next week, right? We all do that with things, right? But I just urge people to really, really think about it. Think about think about how fast the last 10 years have gone by. Think of where you were 10 years ago. You're like, yeah, okay, I could do that, right?
Right.
Think about the 10 years in front of you. Where are you going to be 10 years from now if you don't start putting these things in place? And I tell people, be selfish. This is the time to be selfish for 2 to 3 hours a week for yourself. Get into that world, reconnect with yourself, and get into some workouts the proper way. And I just love when people do that, and I get the emails or the calls from people, and they're, hey, I've been following your stuff, and I've lost 19 pounds, and I this and I that, and it's just I'm just blessed.
Wow.
I feel
That's
awesome.
nice.
Yeah, it's
What
cool.
would what about those who feel, you got some people who really feel stuck and overwhelmed, and how do you help them shift that foundation?
Mm.
Because they really are. They really want to do it, but they brain say do. I mean, their body say I need it, but their brain is they just can't. They stuck. How do you take that foundational shift for
Mm.
them?
No, it's such a great question because everybody faces it in different parts of our life, right? So we get stuck and we get stubborn, or we, don't follow through on something that we know in our heart we really want to, right? So this is what I tell people. I said, listen, there is an entry level for everyone when it comes to wellness and fitness practices. For everybody, you don't have to be a superstar athlete, or hey, I was a really great athlete in high school, and or I never played sports, or I'm not that athletic. It doesn't matter. It's here for all of you. Okay, so that's the first thing. Just know there's an entry level. A lot of people get intimidated with this stuff, and I understand that, and I see why, right? So I want people, if they're in that mode, think about incremental thoughts in your head. Like, let's just start a little bit. So look, I'm in great shape. I'm 61. I do the whole, martial arts thing, and I don't train like that as hard as I used to with jujitsu and all that stuff, right? I'm in very, very good shape because I have the knowledge and I have the passion to do it. It's my whole life. I absolutely love it. My wife's in incredible shape. 63, she's incredible. She's actually in the book and on some of the videos, and people are like, "Really? She's 63?" So we're examples of this stuff, okay? But I tell people, look, you have to start somewhere. You don't have to start with this rigorous process of training. Don't you just lose that thought, okay? This is part of why I have a zone one for beginners on my website. I give people access to the library, um, because it's very basic stuff. I could take um, 20 people that have
Mhm.
never trained before, that are a little overweight. They just don't have that. They don't feel great about themselves, right? I could promise you, I could take every single one of them, and I could say, all right, I'm going to have you buy a couple things for your house. We're going to start at your house, and I'm going to give you 3 or 4 movements. I'm going to explain to you how to do them right. I'm going to explain to you that you don't need to do any more than 20 minutes a day for the first 2 weeks. Then we're going to increase it maybe 5 minutes a week, right? We're gonna We're going to incrementally grow your program with you. This is a lot of what I do with the private stuff I do as well. I really get people into that
Okay.
zone where they really get such a huge benefit off it because everybody's different. Everyone has a
Right.
little bit different road they want to travel down when it comes to fitness. So we have to understand what is their intended outcome. What are they really after?
Yeah.
And so we start to tailor it with them. But we're right there with them. And so incremental. You don't have to. If there's a 2 pound steak in front of you and you're starving, you don't try to eat it in one bite, right? The old adage, right? We cut it up and we eat it in pieces, and you still can eat the whole thing. But we have to think of that when it comes to our wellness and fitness practices. And if people go on, they can see the fitness quadrant thing that I talked about. They can sort of see
Yeah.
what I'm talking about and kind of further, maybe understand it a little bit better. It's not that hard. You have to have a desire. You have to have a commitment. But I'm just telling you, it doesn't. You're not going into the Olympics next year. You don't have to have a 15-hour a week mentality. You have a life to live. You got work. You got kids. You got all these things. So don't make it this enormous thing in your head, this enormous undertaking. If you're really having trouble, start it out light and slow. But just know you are the one, you have to initiate it, and
Right.
nobody else is going to do it for you. You have to be the one to set some time aside, organize it down, and stick to it. Don't waver. If you really want it, you have to stick to it, and lose the excuses, and just get tough on yourself on your regimen. It could be 20 hours twice a week. Then it's 20 hours 3 times a week. Then it's maybe 30 hours 3 times a week, a month or 6 weeks in. And that is when people start to get a habit. They start to formulate a habit. And what happens is, man, wow, I feel a little stronger. And oh, wow, I've lost 6 pounds. That's when they start to get the fever. That's when they start to hit this
Yeah.
and they start to say, wow, you know what? I'm feeling it. I want more. I want to understand this a little bit more. And so that's what we tried to build with people. We don't come in red hot with somebody that's never done this before and expect this huge. It's not the right way to do it. We have to train it in a way that it's achievable for people and get them to that level. So yeah, it's doable for everybody listening. You can do this, but you have to have the right knowledge. You have to be ready to really put some time into it. How much time? Like I said, it's not hours every week. Start slow. Um, pers-
Okay.
Personally, I'm very busy. I'm in the gym a lot. I train with people. I'm talking to people overseas about their, custom programs that I'll put together with them. Uh, I have to pay attention to that because I get tired. I still have to do my workouts. Some days are long for me, right? Now, I work with 6 or 7 private clients in the gym. I'm lugging weights around. I'm moving. I'm sweating. So I have to make sure, okay, I need adequate nutrition to account for just training people. And then I've got to do my workouts. Some afternoons,
Right.
I'm like, I just want to get out of the gym. I've been in here for 6 hours, right? And I'm telling this to people for a reason. So I even have those times when, oh, I don't feel like doing my workout today. But so here's how I handle it. And this is kind of the last piece of advice I will give people. I'll say to myself, all right, I know I know I'm really tired. I've had a long day and I have to get my workout in, which is my workouts are usually 45 minutes, right? And there are certain structure and patterns and all this stuff that I teach other people how to do. But here's what I'll do. I play a game with myself. I say, all right, you know what? I'm going to pick, instead of doing 6 exercises today, I'm going to pick 2 of them. I'm just going to go do 2 quick rounds of them, 10 minutes. And what happens is I do them and then the switch gets turned on and I end up but the point is, I think incremental. I'll just go through a couple quick movements. I end up staying for 35 to 40 minutes and I get my workout in. So I'm just telling people I'm human too. Sometimes I don't feel like doing my workout, but I play that little game. I'm like, I'll just do a few sets, just so I can punch the ticket today. And what happens 99 out of 100 times, I end up going through my whole workout. I just I just pop the cap off the bottle, right? And then boom, I get into it. So we all go
Yeah, that
through it.
happened to me when that happened to me when I go to the when I'm there and I'm like I just don't feel like doing it. But once I start, I'll say I'm just gonna do this, and then I get into it, and it's just the blood start flowing,
Yeah,
and the energy start going. You like, okay, I'm here now.
I'm
It's
here. Let's
so
rock. Let,
funny how
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to psych yourself out,
You have to play a game with yourself on those
right?
days, right? So yeah, it's something that's dear to me. I've seen the right fitness, protocols. I've seen it change lives. I really have. And people that came in with, really overweight, their joints hurt, they can't walk up a set of stairs, resistance training and proper nutrition, it fixes all of that. The name of my book is called The Goat Within, right? And I always tell
Right.
people, you have a light in you. You got a light inside of you, right? It's dying to come out. You go find that greatness inside of you. It's there. The human body will answer you, but you have to trigger it. It can't just be, kind of going in and fiddling around at Planet Fitness on the treadmill for 20 minutes. It's not going to do it. You have to do it the right way. And there is a right way and a wrong way. And that's, again, we've built those systems and it's really there to guide and coach people into getting it right. And if I can be that effect throughout, people I don't even know that are following this stuff, and it really helps them. It absolutely, I can't even tell people how thankful I am that they can actually, stay connected with me, and I don't even know them. And that's a huge thing for me. I
Right.
absolutely love that idea. So
So in your book, you have this you have this quadrant, right?
hmm
And do you go into detail on like eliminating toxic nutrition?
yep,
Do you go
yep.
in what is that?
I do. I do.
Okay.
I identify the biggest chunks of toxicity in nutrition. I dig into the science of it, why it's bad for you, and why you need to get away from that type of stuff. I'll give you an example. Um, uh, a lot of people are starting to hear or they've heard about seed oils, right? Seed oils are in all our food. It's in 95% of our food. Seed oils
Mm,
like vegetable oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower. Listen, everybody, these are incredibly unhealthy for you. These seed oils were used as industrial lubricants in the 30s and 40s in the war for military equipment. They bleach them, they cook them down, they clarify them, they take the smell out because they make 50 times more on their money when they put them in a bottle and say, "Oh, this is heart healthy. Go ahead, cottonseed oil to cook with." It's all in my book. I'm telling you right now, seed oils are one of the most dangerous things you can ingest. It's in most restaurant food. It's in all the processed food is seed oils. Okay. I list them and I give alternatives on what to use instead of that, right?
mm,
Seed oils create inflammation in our body. Once we start having inflammation, it opens the door to everything from cancer to gout to all sorts of health issues. Listen, America, wealthiest country, and it's got all this technology and all that. I just wrote an article for a really big international magazine. It's distributed in over 100 countries. They interviewed me, and I did a deep dive before the interview, and I was on a podcast for it as well. Um, and I ranked the 25 countries. America is the most unhealthy out of all of them.
I
It
am not
is
surprised.
It is unbelievable. I'm trying to wake people up. That's why I wrote the book. I'm trying to get people to understand you have a choice. If you're too lazy to go find that choice, I can't help you. But if you want to put a little effort in to find out some of the things that can really affect your life, go find out. Listen, I'd love if people obviously buy my book. That's why I wrote it, right? I tell people it's the best $18 you'll ever spend on Amazon. If you really want to make a change, get it and dig into it. Interact with us. Go on the website. Find out how to do this stuff. And after you find out, You teach your kids, you bring your spouse in, and bring your family in, right? Isn't that what family's all about? Making each other better,
Yes.
supporting each other, but being honest with each other as well. That's what I tell everybody, man. If you learn some of this stuff and you work with me or you just follow some of my material, teach your loved ones. Don't don't keep it to yourself. Teach your loved ones. And that's something that, I obviously can't control, but
Right.
I beg people to do that because I know the ramifications of not doing it the right way,
Right.
as well as when you do it the right way. So yeah.
So here's a $1 million question. No,
Uh-oh.
no. How do you work? You have so many people, using these like Ozempic, using these weight loss drugs. How do
Oh
you
yeah.
work with them? Because those
Whew.
horrible.
Martha's pouring it on right now. Listen, that is a topic you and I could talk about 5 hours on. Okay,
Ooh,
it's a big deal. Okay, and
it
it's
really is.
oh man, it just I talk about it in the book actually. All right, but here's the deal. So I have this little part in my book I go into, and I also talk to people about it live. Right, people are conditioned, especially in the U.S., to look for the that magic pill.
Yes.
What's the fastest way I can get a burger? What's the quickest? I'm going to go to my doctor. I'm going to go online. The quicker it is, the worse it usually is for you. All right. So when you start talking about the GLPs and Ozempic, and listen, there are so many bad things associated with it. Some people listen to this will probably think, I'm out of my mind and they'll be mad at me and all that stuff. There was just a study that just came out. It was actually last week I read it, that for every 6 pounds people lose when they're on Ozempic, for every 6 pounds they lose 4 pounds of lean body mass, which is muscle
Mm.
and bone density. Think about that.
Oh my God.
The very tissue we don't want to lose, muscle and bone density, you're losing 4 pounds of it for every six you lose. Okay, you are you are in trouble. Okay, so I also explain in my book, and I'll talk to you quickly about it now. So people have this idea about getting on a scale. Oh my God, I weigh
Oh
160
my God.
160 pounds. Listen, it's not the scale weight, it's the body composition. And I write about it in the book to get people to understand your body's made up of different, lean body mass and then fat weight, right? And
Mhm.
all fat weight isn't bad, right? We need fat on our body, right? So,
Right.
so we're talking about lean body mass, and that's what the proper, protocols with a fitness regimen, even if it's basic, you gain more muscle, and that muscle will start to chew more fat off your body naturally. So that's the process that you should be considering as a long-term solution to actually aging strong. Because if you go the other route, you may lose that quick 20, 30, 40 pounds on
Hmm.
Ozempic. I promise you, you are going to have long-term ramifications, health problems, physical fitness problems that far outweigh that quick hit you got in the first year of losing quote unquote weight. You're going to pay the price. If you are on Ozempic, and if you are on Wegovy and all these things, please listen to me. It is more important than ever that you understand you have to have a muscle building strategy if you're on those weight loss GLPs. You have
Mm.
to really be doing resistance training to stimulate muscle growth, bone density increases, and that is resistance training. When we lift a weight, that muscle is being challenged. That muscle pulls on the tendon. That tendon is attached to the bone, right? So that tendon starts pulling on the bone, the junction point of the bone. So now that bone has to go through what we call an adaptive remodeling. And what it means is the bone starts to put layers onto itself to withstand the pulling of the tendon. That's what resistance training does. it's a massive win for people when they start to understand how to do this stuff the right way. Resistance training is the king of fitness because of all the after effects you get with it. So that's something that, I really, really, really beg and plead people to understand how to do it right. Fitness quadrant is the resistance, the nutrition, cardiovascular, rest and recovery. Those four pieces are the fitness quadrant, and they all work together. You just can't do one of them and expect huge results. They all have a place and they actually improve each other. So when people understand it's a combination of things that really can make massive changes to your life. You just have to have the pieces to put in place. And I again, I love when people get that little glimmer in their mind saying, you know what, maybe I should find out a little bit more about this. This is why I'm here. Right? This is why you and I are talking, is to get people
Right,
a,
exactly.
a higher understanding of this is something you can do. There is, if you
Because you're
can't,
right, it's like trainers out there and they give it's a one size fit all
yes,
model. But
yes.
everybody, people, we are so complex, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it is unbelievably how complex the human body is. Here's a statistic for you. The central nervous system, I have a whole section in the book about that, right? How important the central nervous system is in our body
Mm-hmm.
to stimulate muscle growth, to coordinate movement through a process called proprioception. When we talk about reaction time, it goes into people's slip and falls. If they don't have if their
Mm,
central nervous system isn't up to par, they don't have the time to recover when they slip. So they fall. They don't have the reaction time to get their leg out, right?
that's
So
true.
they break their hip. There's over 360,000 people a year that break their hip. 48% of them end up dying, right?
Mm,
So listen, the central nervous system in your body in the average man and women is 100,000 miles of circuitry. You have enough nerves in your body, it could wrap around the earth 3.5 times. You don't think we're complex as a physical being, right? So I go into how important the central nervous system is when we start talking about health and fitness, all these things. I go into BDNF, brain derived neurotrophic factor, that our brain releases that is induced by resistance training and cardiovascular work. It literally keeps Alzheimer's away and dementia away from you. BDNF, I go into
wow.
these components so people can understand there's a much bigger reason why I should consider doing a system that really is written by a scientist that can really affect me. So that type of stuff is really front and center. And I want to squeeze in one more thing, Martha. This is an important topic that I talk about,
Hmm.
right? Most people, when they think, all right, I need a fitness program, but I'm going to go to Planet Fitness, I'm going to get on that treadmill. And I'm just, because it's easy. You get on, you maybe ramp it up a couple notches, press the button. It's not that it's a bad thing, but let me explain to you what's happening, right? You go to Planet Fitness, they got 8,000 treadmills because it's easy. They go in and they hit that button and they walk for 15, 20, 30 minutes, maybe
Hmm.
45, all right? That becomes their main dish in their quote unquote fitness program, right?
Hmm.
Here's what's happening. When you start to do excessive cardio as your main program, right? Your body uses glycogen is the fuel that our body runs on when we're doing a cardiovascular event. Okay. So when we're doing that cardiovascular and we don't have the adequate nutrition in our body, what happens is our body starts to hunt for new stores of glycogen. All right.
Mm.
And what happens is because we're doing all this cardio, we go through a process, this is going to sound fancy, called gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is the process of your body hunting for nutrient dense tissue in your body to pull it through the liver and break it down into more glycogen for fuel to burn during your cardio bout. What tissue do you think it's going for to break down?
The muscle.
Muscle. It's looking for 9 amino acids to pull out of your muscle mass to turn into glycogen. So what happens? People have good intentions. I'm doing my cardio. I'm up to 3 days a week. Blah 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 blah. I've lost 12 pounds. Well, guess what? You've lost 6 pounds of muscle. Half of what you're
Mm,
losing is muscle. You can't afford to lose muscle. It's the most important tissue on your body. And this is what I'm talking about. Doing it the right way, understanding what stimulates muscle growth, what stimulates fat metabolism. All of these things work together. So if you're doing all this cardio, you are actually working against yourself because you're losing muscle mass. So we need to learn, what equation do we use? Cardio's great.
right.
Cardio's great, but let's not overdo it and not do the resistance part and the nutrition properly. That's that combination of doing this stuff the right way. And I get so into this stuff because the sample size I have of hundreds and hundreds of people over the years. I've been in this for 30 years. And the stuff I've seen people do and not do, the biggest losers is they go off track. I'm too busy. Those are the people that lose out. The ones that win are the ones that stay true to the course, right? They have their rough weeks in there throughout the year that you can't work out. You're going on vacation. I get it. You have some, mulligans during the year. You just can't get your training
Right.
in, right? That's okay. That's okay. As long as we're putting, 46 to 48 weeks a year, we have a consistency, you know. Listen, when you're on vacation, the hotels, you can get a TRX, but you can do a mini workout. We actually have those workouts also on our website. If you're traveling, here are some things you can do just to squeeze in 20 to 30 minutes in a hotel room just to keep that connectivity in your workouts, right? So I'm all about it. People are probably listening to me going, "This guy's crazy."
Oh
But
no, actually it's good information and you have it all on your website as
mhm.
well. You people have access to it when they go on your website.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on there. Then I have libraries. Okay, they can buy the libraries and they have access to all these workouts. We're $129. They can buy 3 months worth of time. Look at the workouts, follow them. They'll be on. You can get them on an app on my phone. It'll translate right onto your phone. We have mobility exercise libraries. We just started shooting film for, if you play pickleball, golf, or tennis. We have zone 7, I think, is all pickleball, tennis, and golf rotational integrity workouts, like different ones to address that. I narrate them. We really go over all that stuff so people can really start to get a bigger picture on how to actually do this stuff the right way. And I just get excited when people start to engage. I know that
That's awesome.
a lot of people want to do it. They just don't know where to find the right information. And YouTube and Instagram is loaded with misinformation, unfortunately. I have a woman right now that's 84 years old. She's been training with me for 18 months, could barely get up and down stairs. Her knees were so bad, her back was
Hmm.
gone. So we incrementally worked her up to a level that you wouldn't believe her training now. She's actually running the Boston Marathon next year at 85 years old.
Oh,
And
that is incredible.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So we can strengthen joints, and it takes time, but people need to be open their eyes to the fact that the body, how we started the show, is highly adaptive if you have the right stimulus, right? If you have the wrong
Yes.
stimulus, right, alcohol, drugs, your body will adapt to that too by nosediving
Right,
into
right,
decay, right? So you think about the both ends of the spectrum.
right.
Let's get on the good side of this stuff, everybody. Let's do it and make some changes in your life. I'm all about people reaching out, and people can schedule a free calendar call with me online. They schedule it.
Okay.
I jump on, give them. I think it's 15 minutes. I'll give them. Hey, answer some of their questions. I'd love to hear from people, and at the end of the day, I'm really here to help people. That's my goal.
And thank you for service at such a high level like that.
Mm.
And we just want to say to the audience, if you know someone that is looking to get information clarity in their health journey, please do reach out to Tim. He has a book called The Goat Within. He also has a website that we will put in the video. Please reach out and connect with him. Also, share the video Please do share, comment, and subscribe to my channel because you know I always have amazing people on. So we just want to just thank you for all of what you get given us today. And
Mm,
we look forward to connecting with you.
thank you so much for being here. It's been an honor for me, and I really love your show. Very
Thank
authentic,
you.
and the listeners really have a great host here. So thanks, Martha.
Thank you so much. And to the audience, have a fantastic Monday.
It's your time to shine.